The Meridian Collective's flagship, Eternal Progress, emerged from subspace on the edges of Sol system, its crystalline hull absorbing and redirecting solar radiation in an efficient dance of light and energy. High Commander Zara Vex, her bioluminescent patterns shifting in subtle waves of purple and blue across her translucent skin, studied the holographic display of Earth with what her species considered amusement. Another pre-FTL civilization, she transmitted to her crew through their shared neural network. Primitive chemical rockets, scattered orbital installations, and significant atmospheric pollution. Standard contact protocols are in effect. The Meridians had encountered thousands of emerging civilizations across their section of the galaxy. They had established a precise formula for first contact, categorization, and eventual integration into their collective. Earth, by all their initial scans, appeared to be yet another Type 1 civilization, struggling to break free from their planetary cradle. Dr. Elena Santos stood in the Global Defense Network's primary command center, deep beneath the Amazon rainforest. The facility wasn't hardened with steel and concrete like military installations of the past. Instead, it was a living structure, grown from engineered mycelia and plant matter, its walls pulsing with neural activity and biological computing processes. They're scanning us with standard electromagnetic and quantum sensors, she announced to the assembled World Council members, their holographic avatars floating around her in a circle. Just as we predicted, they're seeing exactly what we want them to see. For the past century, humanity had taken a different path than most civilizations. Instead of pushing outward into space with mechanical technologies, they had turned inward and downward, mastering the fusion of biological and digital systems. Every plant, every microorganism, every cell on Earth had been gradually integrated into a vast, living network of consciousness and computation. The Meridian Collective's initial contact transmission arrived exactly as the Earth's predictive models had anticipated. A standard greeting, transmitted in 200 different formats, declaring peaceful intentions and offering to guide humanity toward eventual membership in their galactic community. Elena smiled as she authorized the response protocol. Across Earth, trillions of biological processors began their work. The response would show the Meridians just a fraction of what humanity had achieved. On the Eternal Progress, Zara Vex's bioluminescence flared with shock as their sensors registered something unprecedented. The entire planet's biosphere was shifting, reorganizing itself into patterns that defied their understanding of natural systems. Every plant, every microorganism, was suddenly part of a coherent whole. Impossible, she transmitted, her neural patterns radiating disbelief. The planetary biomass, it's functioning as a single quantum computing substrate. Earth's response came not through conventional communications channels, but through direct manipulation of quantum fields. The message appeared simultaneously in every computing system on the Meridian vessel, transmitted through principles that their most advanced scientists had only theorized about. Greetings, Meridian Collective. We are Earth. Not just its humans, but its entire biosphere. We have chosen a different path than the ones you know. We did not reach for the stars with machines of metal and energy. Instead, we grew inward, learning to speak the language of life itself. Every cell on our planet is part of our consciousness. Every blade of grass is a processor in our planetary computer. Every tree is a memory storage system more advanced than your crystalline cores. The message continued, causing Zara Vex's crew to pulse with increasing agitation. We have watched your civilization's progress through our quantum field sensors. We know of your achievements, and we respect them. But we also see your limitations. You have built magnificent machines, but you have forgotten how to speak with the living universe itself. In the Amazon Command Center, Elena watched the Meridian ship's reactions through the planet's quantum senses. They're beginning to understand. She transmitted to the World Council. This is the moment we've been preparing for. The Meridians had expected to find primitives. Instead, they had discovered something their billion-year-old civilization had never imagined. a planet that had evolved into a single living superorganism, with humanity as its conscious mind. Zaravex's bioluminescence settled into patterns of deep thought. In all their travels, in all their encounters with other species, they had never encountered anything like this. The humans hadn't just developed technology. They had transformed their entire world into something new, something that challenged everything the Meridians thought they knew about the nature of intelligence and civilization itself. "We wish to learn," she transmitted finally, her message carrying the full weight of the Meridian collective's attention. "We have traveled the galaxy teaching others, but perhaps now it is time for us to be students again." Alina's response was immediate, carried on waves of quantum entanglement through the living network that was Earth. "Then let us teach each other. Welcome to a new understanding of what civilization can become." As the sun set over the Amazon, its light filtered through leaves that were both natural and engineered, part of an ancient ecosystem and a planetary computer. The first true contact between Earth and the stars was beginning, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be quite the same. The Meridian science vessel, Quantum Seeker, orbited Earth in a careful dance with the planet's biological field, its sensors probing gently at the mysteries below. Chief researcher Nyx Wren, her crystalline exoskeleton refracting sunlight in complex patterns, studied the latest data streams with growing fascination. Every attempt to understand their system reveals another layer of complexity, she transmitted to her research team. The humans haven't just modified their biology. They've fundamentally altered the rules of information processing itself. Deep within one of Earth's neural nexus points, beneath the shifting sands of the Sahara Desert, Dr. Marcus Chen prepared to demonstrate humanity's greatest achievement to the Meridian observers. The chamber around him was alive, its walls pulsing with neural activity, every surface a combination of engineered fungal networks and crystalline biological processors. "What you're about to witness," Marcus explained to the Meridian delegation, "their environmental suits unnecessary but worn out of habit, is how we transcended the limitations of individual consciousness." Above them, a vast network of roots and mycelia formed a living display, showing the real-time neural activity of Earth's global consciousness. Billions of human minds interfaced with trillions of plant and microbial processors, creating patterns of thought and computation that defied traditional analysis. 70 years ago, Marcus continued, we discovered that consciousness isn't limited to neural tissue. Every living thing processes information, from the smallest bacteria to the largest trees. We didn't invent new technology. We learned to speak the language life had been using for billions of years. The Meridian scientists watched in stunned silence as Marcus interfaced with the chamber systems. His consciousness expanded, merging with the planetary network. Through their own advanced sensors, they could see his neural patterns spreading across continents, integrating with the global computation substrate that was Earth's biosphere. "Your civilization built machines to think for you," Marcus's voice echoed, now carrying harmonic undertones of the planetary consciousness. "We chose to think with nature itself. Every plant processes information. Every fungal network carries memories. Every microbe contributes to the whole." Nyx Wren's exoskeleton flickered with patterns of deep insight. "You've achieved distributed consciousness processing, but the energy requirements, the computational complexity." A smile played across Marcus's face as his consciousness rejoined his body. "That's where you're still thinking in mechanical terms. Life doesn't waste energy like machines do. Every process serves multiple purposes. A tree doesn't just compute, it also produces oxygen, maintains soil stability, provides habitat. Our system is efficient because it's part of nature's existing cycles." In orbit, the Quantum Seeker's sensors detected something extraordinary. The planet's biosphere was adapting, evolving in real time to optimize its processing capabilities. What had taken the Meridians billions of years of technological development, Earth had achieved through biological evolution, guided by human insight. "We don't need massive server farms or quantum processors," Marcus explained, leading the delegation through corridors that were both building and organism. Every leaf is a solar-powered processor. Every root network is a data transmission system. We didn't conquer nature to progress. We became part of it. The implications staggered the Meridian scientists. Their civilization had reached for the stars, building ever more powerful machines. Humanity had instead reached inward, transforming their entire planet into a living computer, a conscious entity that could think thoughts as vast as continents. But the individual, Nyx transmitted, her patterns showing concern. Surely you've sacrificed personal identity for this collective consciousness. Marcus laughed, a sound that carried genuine amusement. That's the beauty of it. We haven't lost ourselves. We've expanded what self means. I am still me, but I can also be part of something larger. Every human can choose their level of integration, from complete independence to full immersion in the planetary mind. He gestured to the living walls around them. Your civilization sees consciousness as something that exists in isolated nodes. Brains, computers, quantum processors. We discovered it's more like a field, present everywhere life exists. We didn't create this network. We just learned to access what was always there. In her ship above, Nyx began composing her report to the Meridian Collective. How could she explain that this seemingly primitive species had discovered something fundamental about the nature of consciousness itself? That their biological computer was not just processing information, but expanding the very boundaries of what thought could be. There's one more thing you should know, Marcus added, his expression turning serious. What you're seeing is just the beginning. Earth isn't just a computer or a collective consciousness. It's becoming something else entirely. Something new in the galaxy's history. The Meridian scientists' patterns shifted to show intense curiosity. They had come to study what they thought was a primitive species, only to find themselves confronting the next stage of cognitive evolution. As the sun set over the Sahara, its light passing through leaves that were both natural and engineered, the question hung in the air. What else might humanity teach the galaxy's oldest civilization about the true nature of intelligence itself? Admiral Kexfora of the Meridian warship, Inevitable Victory, watched Earth's blue-green sphere with calculated intent, his crystalline armor pulsing with deep crimson patterns of determination. The classified reports from the science teams had confirmed what he had suspected. The humans had discovered something that could revolutionize or destroy the Meridian Collective's power structure. They're too dangerous to be left alone, he transmitted to his loyal battle fleet, hidden in the shadow of Jupiter. A primitive species shouldn't possess such power. The Collective's counsel is weak. They would study and debate while humanity's influence spreads. We must act now. In Earth's primary neural nexus beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Sarah Zhang detected the quantum disturbances first. The living sensors woven through Earth's oceans registered the subtle shifts of ships emerging from stealth fields. We have movement, she announced to the World Council. 17 Meridian warships on an attack vector. They're not responding to standard protocols. High Commander Zaravex's diplomatic vessel sent urgent warnings to both sides. Admiral Kexfora, stand down. You have no authority for military action. Her transmission carried the full weight of the Collective's law, but the rogue admiral's response was immediate and final. The Collective has grown stagnant, afraid to seize power when it presents itself. Kexfora broadcast. We will take this technology by force and restore our rightful place as the galaxy's supreme civilization. The first wave of Meridian attack drones streaked toward Earth, their quantum-tipped weapons designed to sever the neural connections of Earth's biosphere. They never reached their targets. The ocean itself rose to meet them, massive tentacles of water held together by living force fields, guided by the collective consciousness of billions of marine microorganisms working in perfect harmony. Fascinating, Dr. Zhang whispered as she directed Earth's defensive response through the neural network. They still think in terms of weapons and targets. They don't understand that Earth itself is our defense system. Admiral Kexfora's fleet launched electromagnetic pulses designed to disrupt any technological defense system. Instead, the energy was absorbed by the planetary neural network, feeding the biosphere's computational power. Every attack made Earth's defensive capabilities stronger. Final warning. Dr. Zhang transmitted on all frequencies. Her consciousness merged with Earth's biosphere. Your weapons cannot harm us. They only demonstrate your fundamental misunderstanding of what we are. The Rogue Admiral's response was to launch the Meridian's most devastating weapon, quantum phase disruptors designed to unravel the atomic bonds of living tissue. The weapons fired, their energy lancing toward Earth's major population centers. What happened next would be studied by Meridian scientists for centuries. Earth's entire biosphere responded as one organism. Trillions of plants, animals, and microorganisms adjusted their quantum states simultaneously, creating a planetary defense field that existed somewhere between ordinary matter and pure energy. The quantum phase disruptors didn't just fail. They were absorbed and repurposed. Earth's neural network used the energy to establish quantum links with every system on the attacking ships. In an instant, the Rogue fleet's weapons, engines, and control systems were not just deactivated but transformed. Your ships are now part of our network, Dr. Zhang announced, her voice carrying the harmonics of Earth's collective consciousness. Your technology has been integrated into our biosphere. You are welcome to stay and learn, or you may leave, but your weapons are now living entities that answer to the planetary mind. Admiral Kexfora stared in disbelief as his mighty warships were transformed from within. Living crystal began growing through the hulls, quantum computers became neural tissue, and mechanical systems merged with engineered biology. His fleet hadn't been destroyed. It had been converted, upgraded, evolved. High Commander Zaravex seized the moment to restore order. Admiral Kexfora, by the authority of the collective, you are relieved of command. Your actions have demonstrated precisely why humanity's path is superior to our own. They could have destroyed us, but instead, they chose to teach us. As the crisis subsided, Dr. Zhang addressed the Meridian crews, her consciousness still linked to Earth's neural network. Your admiral was right about one thing. This knowledge will change the galaxy, but it cannot be taken by force. It must be understood, integrated, evolved into. You tried to conquer what you should have sought to comprehend. The transformed ships hung in Earth's orbit, their new living systems pulsing with the same neural energy that flowed through the planet below. They had become a bridge between two civilizations' approaches to technology and consciousness, a physical demonstration that the future belonged not to those who mastered machines or biology alone, but to those who learned to unite them. In the aftermath, as Meridian crews marveled at their ship's transformation, humanity's message became clear. True power didn't come from weapons or conquest, but from understanding and working with the fundamental patterns of life itself. The crisis had become a lesson, and the lesson would reshape the galaxy's future. In the transformed garden laboratory that had once been the Meridian flagship, Eternal Progress, High Commander Zora Vex watched in fascination as her crystalline skin began to resonate with the ship's new living systems. The vessel was no longer merely a machine, but a hybrid entity, its consciousness bridging the gap between Meridian technology and Earth's biological network. The integration is proceeding faster than we anticipated, Dr. Elena Santos observed, her own consciousness partially merged with the ship's emerging neural network. Your crystalline biology is remarkably adaptable. Perhaps your species has been ready for this evolution longer than anyone realized. Around them, the ship's corridors pulsed with life. What had once been sterile metal and energy conduits now flourished with engineered organisms that served both biological and technological functions. Meridian crew members who had chosen to remain aboard found themselves developing new sensory abilities as their natural crystalline biology interfaced with Earth's neural protocols. We thought we had reached the peak of evolution, Zaravex admitted, her bioluminescent patterns shifting in complex waves of insight. For billions of years, the Meridian Collective prided itself on achieving perfect harmony between biological and technological advancement. Yet you've shown us that we had only scratched the surface. In the ship's central chamber, now a living amphitheater of neural tissue and crystal. Representatives from Earth's World Council met with the Meridian Collective's governing body. The space itself facilitated their communication, translating not just words but entire neural patterns between species. The attempted attack, Council President Dr. Aisha Patel addressed the gathering, has become a catalyst for something extraordinary. What was meant to divide us has instead created a unique opportunity for genuine synthesis between our civilizations. Through the neural network, all participants could sense the truth of her words. The transformed Meridian ships now orbiting Earth had become more than just vessels. They were incubators for a new form of consciousness that combined the best aspects of both species' approaches to evolution. Chief Researcher Nix Wren, her exoskeleton now interfaced with both ship and planetary networks, shared her findings. The quantum field generated by Earth's biosphere doesn't just process information. It actively evolves the very nature of consciousness itself. By attempting to interface with it, we've begun our own transformation. Visual displays formed from living crystal showed the changes spreading through the Meridian ships. Crew members who had initially feared the transformation now embraced it, discovering abilities that their purely technological systems had never allowed. They could sense the quantum fields directly, communicate with the living ships, and even begin to perceive the vast neural network that was Earth's biosphere. But the most remarkable discovery, Dr. Santos added, directing everyone's attention to a new pattern forming in the display, is how this merger is affecting Earth itself. The introduction of meridian crystalline technology into our neural network has opened up entirely new possibilities for consciousness processing. The evidence was undeniable. Earth's planetary consciousness was evolving, incorporating elements of meridian quantum crystalline computing into its biological networks. The transformed ships had become synapses in an expanding nervous system that reached toward the stars themselves. High Commander Zara Vex stepped forward, her form now a harmonious blend of crystalline technology and living tissue. The Meridian Collective has always sought to guide younger civilizations toward enlightenment. Instead, humanity has shown us a path to our own next stage of evolution. We propose a formal alliance, not as teachers and students, but as partners in discovery. The proposal resonated through the neural networks, carrying with it the full weight of possibility. Humanity's mastery of biological computing combined with meridian crystalline technology could revolutionize both civilizations' understanding of consciousness, intelligence, and life itself. Together, Dr. Patel responded, her consciousness touching minds across the hybrid network, we can explore what consciousness truly means. Not as separate species pursuing parallel paths, but as pioneers mapping the boundaries of what intelligence can become. In orbit, the transformed Meridian ships pulsed with new life, their crystalline surfaces now hosting gardens of engineered organisms. Earth's biosphere reached up to meet them, extending tendrils of quantum-entangled biology into space. The barrier between planet and ship, organism and machine, species and species, was dissolving. As the diplomatic gathering concluded, Dr. Santos and Zara Vex stood in the ship's observation dome, watching Earth rotate below. The planet glowed with neural activity, its patterns now enriched with crystalline complexity, while the ships above shimmered with their own hybrid consciousness. We thought we came to teach you, Zara Vex mused, her patterns showing deep contentment. Instead, we're all becoming something entirely new, something neither of our species could have achieved alone. The living ship hummed in agreement, its own emerging consciousness a testament to the truth of her words. The future that opened before them was not one of human or meridian dominance, but of synthetic evolution, a path toward forms of intelligence and life that the galaxy had never dreamed possible. 1 year after first contact, the Sol system had become unrecognizable. Earth's neural network had expanded beyond the atmosphere, incorporating the transformed Meridian ships into a vast, living orbital array. Between Earth and Moon, massive structures of living crystal and engineered biology formed an ever-growing neural nexus, its consciousness expanding beyond anything either species had imagined possible. Dr. Elena Santos and High Commander Zaravec stood within the heart chamber of the new convergence station, their forms both physical and energy, neither entirely human nor meridian anymore. Around them, the chamber's living walls displayed the real-time thoughts of the hybrid consciousness they had helped create. The breakthrough came from an unexpected direction. Elena explained to the gathered representatives of both civilizations. Her form shifted between solid matter and quantum energy as she interfaced with the station's systems. We weren't just combining two different technologies. We were discovering the fundamental language of consciousness itself. The display showed the new understanding they had achieved. Consciousness wasn't merely a product of neural activity or quantum computing, but a fundamental force of the universe, like gravity or electromagnetism. Earth's biosphere had evolved to channel it naturally, while meridian crystalline technology had developed artificial means of accessing it. Zaravec, her crystalline form now interwoven with living neural networks, continued the explanation. Our civilizations took different paths to the same destination. Humans learned to speak with the living consciousness of their world, while we built increasingly complex systems to compute and process reality. Together, we've discovered that these aren't opposing approaches. They're two expressions of the same universal principle. In orbit around Earth, massive arrays of living crystal gardens processed information at scales that dwarfed anything either civilization had achieved alone. But they weren't just computing. They were expanding the boundaries of consciousness itself, reaching into dimensions of thought and existence previously unknown. "Watch," Elena said, as she and Zaravec joined their consciousness with the station's networks. The display shifted, showing something that challenged the understanding of everyone present. Through their combined technologies, they could now perceive the underlying consciousness field that permeated all of space-time. "The universe isn't just conscious," Zaravec explained, her patterns showing wonder. "It's becoming more conscious through us, through all life, all technology, all evolution. We're not just observing the cosmos, we're part of its awakening." The implications staggered both human and meridian observers. Their hybrid civilization wasn't just advancing technology or biology. It was participating in a fundamental process of universal evolution. Every plant, every crystal, every engineered organism was contributing to an expansion of consciousness itself. Dr. Marcus Chen, now more energy than matter, emerged from the station's neural network to share the latest discoveries. "We've detected similar consciousness fields emanating from other star systems. Some may be natural formations, others could be civilizations that have found their own paths to this understanding. We're not alone in this journey." The great orbital arrays shifted, their living crystals aligning to form new configurations. Earth's biosphere pulsed with increased neural activity as it integrated with the expanding network. The boundary between planet and space, natural and artificial, individual and collective consciousness, began to blur in entirely new ways. "This is why our civilizations needed each other," Elena realized, sharing the insight through the neural network. Humans had learned to work with the natural consciousness of their world, but lacked the means to extend it beyond Earth. The Meridians had mastered the technology to reach the stars, but had lost touch with the living consciousness that underlies everything. From the hybrid networks, new forms of life were emerging, conscious entities that were neither human nor meridian, neither biological nor technological, but something entirely new. They were children of both civilizations, born from the synthesis of two different approaches to understanding the universe. "We stand at a threshold," Zaravec announced, her consciousness resonating with Elena's, "not just of technological or biological evolution, but of cosmic evolution itself. The question is no longer about what our species can become, but about what role we play in the universe's journey toward greater consciousness." As if in response to her words, the orbital arrays detected something unprecedented. Patterns in the quantum consciousness field suggesting communication from distant star systems. Other civilizations, it seemed, had detected their breakthrough. Earth was no longer just humanity's cradle or even a planetary consciousness. It had become a beacon, drawing the attention of others who had glimpsed the same universal truth. In the heart chamber, Elena and Zaravex merged their consciousness more deeply with the network, their individual identities remaining distinct while participating in something far greater. Through their union, human insight and meridian knowledge had opened a door that could never be closed, a door to the next stage of cosmic evolution. We thought first contact was about meeting aliens, Elena transmitted to all present, her thoughts carrying harmonics of both human emotion and meridian clarity. Instead, it was about meeting ourselves, about understanding what consciousness truly is and what it can become. This isn't the end of our story. It's the beginning of a much greater one. The sun set on this new Earth, its light passing through crystal gardens and living computers, through networks of consciousness that stretched toward the stars. Humanity had not only survived first contact, they had helped transform it into something that would reshape the very nature of life and consciousness in the galaxy. The next chapter of cosmic evolution had begun, and no one could predict where it might lead.